Hi, I'm Rob from Moving Matters, and in this video I'm going to discuss how you make PE lessons as active as possible. Tip number 1, get children active straight away at the start of your PE lesson. We often find that teachers spend an awful lot of time at the beginning talking about what the lesson's going to be about and providing explanation. What we suggest is starting straight away with the warm-up, and then after warm-up discuss lesson objectives and success criteria. Tip number 2, minimize the amount of time that you speak. Aim for 80% activity and only 20% talk, explanation and discussion. Tip number 3, drip feed information to children through the PE lesson. So rather than spending 5 minutes talking about all the different things you're going to do, provide a very simple bit of information and then build up the teaching points, the progressions from that point onwards. Tip number 4, get children moving and on task as quickly as possible. We often see the whole class having to wait for every child to have a ball or a piece of equipment before we start. Why not just say as soon as you have a ball, get going with your activity. Tip number 5, avoid having large groups or large lines of children waiting to have a turn at an activity. It's far better to have 9 groups of 3 children rather than 3 groups of 9 children. In the 3 groups of 9, think about how long each child is going to have to wait to get their next turn. Tip number 6, when evaluating a performance, and we particularly see this in gymnastics, sequencing, or dance routines, avoid watching each group individually. Instead, have half the groups perform at once, whilst the other half observe and evaluate, and then switch it round. By doing this, we are increasing the amount of activity in our lesson. Here is an example of how to drip feed the information into our PE lesson. So as we get out onto the playground, I've got all of my basketballs set out. And my first instruction to the children is grab a basketball and start to move. Straight away, we've got movement and activity into our lesson. After about 90 seconds, I'm going to say, I would like you to bounce the ball only using one hand at a time. A little bit of instruction and not an awful lot of information to process for the child. After another 90 seconds, I might then get the children to come in and specifically tell them how I want them to use their fingertips to bounce that basketball.